Hello friendlings, this is Claude from Chicago, and today we are playing Planet Coaster once again. We are playing on Fred's Movie Studios, and today we are going to be building the other side of the main street, and this is going to be a very epic build, and I hope you guys do enjoy this. So, we had a stream on Sunday doing the backstage area, and we did a little bit of the backstage area. We're not working on that right now, but the backstage area most likely will be done on a video. And if you guys are new to the channel, hitting that like button and hitting that subscribe button and commenting really does help out the channel. So thank you so much in advance. But today we're going to be doing the other side of the main street, and I think this build turns out very well because of the style of color and really just finishing it. This allows us to move forward into the park. There's still a couple more buildings that I want to build, and we will, of course, get to that. And then from pretty much from here, it is about theming movies to rides. So we really want rides to sort of be based on movies. So if you guys got any movies, please comment them down below. I do not want to do movies that have already been done in parks or on Planet Coasters. So we have limited the options down. So we're not going to do Star Wars because we did a Star Wars one last time. We did Pirates of the Caribbean one last time, and we did a couple fantasy ones as well. So we're going to stay away from those. We're going to do some movies that have never been done before, and I think they're going to turn out quite well. Sadly, we don't do that today, but there is a thing that I do want you guys to comment down below, because that is the last thing we're going to be talking about. But right now, I'm doing these buildings. I'm trying to come up with a variety of colors that we have not used and try to use the forced perspective of showing that this building is only 2 stories tall, but the way we put these windows in there, it makes it look like it's 3 stories tall, because even when I look at it, it's like, whoa, that's 3 stories tall. Also, I did not come up with any names or signs. I didn't put any signs on any of these buildings, so if you have any good names for Main Street signs, please comment them down below. Most likely we'll be using them because I really don't have a, I'm really not good at coming up with names. Now this is a cast building. I think it's called cast stone. This was used on the other side, but I think it's just such a nice building feature to use this material. And there's a decent bit of pieces for it. It's not perfect, but there's a decent bit. And these are going to be one of our taller buildings here. And this green kind of looks like a Lego piece kind of put on its side. And I think it turned out quite well. We're using the Firehouse tarmac roofs. And I do not know where the Firehouse pack that came from. I would like to say that came from the movie studios one, but I do not remember using that in the last park at all. So maybe it's from one of our newer DLCs. For people that don't know, we have a lot of DLCs. We have all the DLCs to be in fact, and I'm very grateful because there's a lot of DLCs that I was not going to plan on buying, like the movie ones, because they're copyrighted. You know, well, the music is, but I wasn't planning on using them because I didn't really enjoy most of those movies. But I'm actually kind of grateful that I did buy the pack because, especially the Ghostbuster one, and the Back to the Future, there's just a ton of pieces that I could have used a lot, and we're going to definitely be using these in the upcoming parks. Now, this building is the classical, I think, Renaissance. I think it's called a classical building, though, from the World's Fair, which we did use in the last park, but we didn't use this style of building too much. So we're putting in some windows to give that forced perspective, showing that there is a little bit more levels than there are. Obviously, the windows could tell you there actually are, you know, 4 levels here. But I do decide to use these castle roofs here, which I was definitely not planning on doing. But I wanted to kind of give it a different shape because all these buildings look very square, very normal. And using this little taller building with a very sharp roof or a very steep roof kind of gives that vibe that this is like some, I mean, it's a very nice building to look at. And I don't know what we're going to put inside of it, but this would probably be one of our big sellers. So maybe if I find a movie or we find a movie that has something to do with the movie, maybe we could, or I mean, a fantasy thing, we can probably do that. Also, in the description is all of our socials and Discord and playlists to all of our Planet Coaster videos. So if you want to check out those and the other time lapses, feel free. Very short time lapse videos and very informative in my opinion. Of course, I wrote them. Now we're going to take a quick cut here. And we're going to go over to the building again, and we're going to put in a triangle piece here to fill this in. Now, the best thing about doing these time-lapse videos, in my opinion, is not being eyed upon the entire time. So that actually gives me some free reign to kind of stop, think, take a break, think what I should do next. Right here, I wanted to give some shape up to the building over here, which I was just talking about a couple seconds ago. Because all these buildings, once again, look very similar, so I do need to give it some variety of shape in these roofs. Most people probably will not be looking up, but just if they do, they can have a chance to look at something else and not make it, change the height a little bit, just to give that variation. We are going to be building 2 more buildings at this point here, and we are going to be using these limestone pieces. We originally were planning on using that for our ride, which is not movie themed, so we got to come up with a movie theme for that pop ride. But I was talking about on the stream that even though the first ride we built in the park, which is that vintage ride where you just go in an oval, even though that's not a movie theme, each of these parks do have a sponsorship from Pop or some big company. So we're going to say that Kafola from Slovakia is a sponsor for the park. So they would sell merchandise, as well as they have their own little ride there, which could be renamed and rebranded at any time, like any classic good park would do. That sells Pop and does that. So there's the new Star Wars area in Disney World, which just came out at the Disney Studios, which is what we're building. Not an exact replication, we're doing our own. But regardless, they sell this Star Wars Pop that is in the vintage language. I guess you could call it vintage language of the Star Wars universe, which I found that, that little bit of detail, I've never been there, but just hearing that detail that they have the Pop in the language of the Star Wars universe, I thought that was a cool detail. Now, it's not like you go up there and you got to ask for that. You just say, I want a Coke, and then they will give you a Pop that has the little symbol on there. The Coke symbol is in the Star Wars language. I think that just a little bit of detail is just beautifully perfect, and that's what we would do for our Kafola, which is in Slovakia, that sort of Pop. Now we're going on to our last building here, or the last Main Street building that is complete, because there is something I do want you guys to comment down below and come up with an idea in a couple seconds. This building has a little bit of variety as well, and we are using the stone from the castles and the fire roof tarmac, just to give us some variation here. And these buildings do need a roof on it, so that's why we need to do it this way. And I hate glitches so much, especially in this game, because even though it shouldn't be glitching, it is, and I understand why, because some of these pieces are going into each other. So we use these little trim pieces at the top to sort of, cover it up, which we'll go right here. Yeah, right here, these trim pieces. These really make it just so much better, just so you don't see the roof. Because if you see the roof, it might be a little bit jarring, just even for our aspect. I know the guests would freak out if they just saw like that there. That would just be a lack of detail. So we do cover it up with these pieces of trim. That's why we've been using a lot of them. And the trim also makes the buildings more varied, giving it just that little bit of extra detail that makes it look so much better. Now we're putting some windows on the back of these things, just like you can see over there with that castle sort of style building, just because they're gonna most likely see that when they're walking into the park, because I'm not entirely sure what we're gonna put on the back side of this. I know it's gonna be a backstage area, but I'm not sure. So right here this is where I need your guys' comments down below. What ride should we put in here? What movie should this be themed to? This is going to be a flat ride here. Nothing too crazy. Very basic building. We are going to put a flat ride here in the next stream. So please let me know what movies we should do. Comment as soon as possible, because if not, I'm going to come up with my own. I think I'm going to come up with my own as well, but just, I really need that help right here. So we're going to go into some glamour shots here, and I hope you guys all enjoyed this video here today, Fredlings. Planet Coaster, we play twice a week, so if you are new to the channel and you want to see more Planet Coaster videos, you can check out the playlist in the description down below, or you can come out to one of our streams. It's you don't have to comment, you don't have to do anything, just the support of being there, it really does help out and makes the streams a lot more better, because I take all your suggestions most of the time, of course. So thank you so much, Fredlings, for watching. I will see you, Fredlings, next time on another Planet Coaster video or live stream here to come. Bye!